5 citizens have been killed and others injured in blasts carried out by suicide bombers in a hotel in the city of Al-Qamishli. The inhabitants of Kfir and Yabus stage a march in support of the Syrian Arab Army and in appreciation of its sacrifices. Iran warns that the Zionist enemy and some foreign sides are smuggling weapons to the terrorist Takfiri gangs in Syria. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our news for today. 2 citizens have been killed and 6 others injured when a mortar shell fired by terrorists fell on Al-Hal market in Al-Zablatani neighborhood in Damascus. Material damage was inflicted on the place. 3 terrorists with explosive belts have detonated themselves in Hadaya Hotel in Al-Wahda Street in the city of Al-Qamishli. According to initial information, 5 citizens were killed, others have been injured and material damage has been inflicted on the place. As security and stability has been restored to Azara village in Homs suburbs, the maintenance workshops continue their work in repairing the oil, gas and electricity networks. This would help improve the electricity network in the country in general and in the central area in particular. The workshops are expected to finish their work in a period of 48 hours, allowing gas to be available to operate the power stations and provide electricity. This would consequently reduce the power rationing periods. The authorities in Palmyra in Homs suburbs have seized a number of stolen archeological artifacts that date back to more than 2,000 years ago, which has been stolen by the armed terrorist groups and hidden in a house. A source at Homs Governorate said the pieces represented funeral scenes. The first goes back to the 1st and 2nd centuries AD, on which 3 people are engraved. The second piece represents the lower part of a funeral bed with 4 people portrayed on it. The third depicts a funeral scene of a 5-member family. A set of ceramic pieces were also seized, as well as some parts of helical columns. In Hama countryside, Syrian Arab Army destroyed a factory for making explosive devices, killing a number of terrorists inside during an operation that was carried out west of the town of Taybat al-Imam in the northern countryside of the governorate. In the city of Aleppo, Syrian Arab Army foiled an attempt by a terrorist group to infiltrate into Al-Hatab Square, killing many terrorists and injuring others. Syrian Arab Army units also eliminated several terrorist gatherings in Ras al-Aboud, Queres, Arbid, Al-Jdeide, the old city of Aleppo, Dawar al-Jundul, As-Sakhur and the vicinity of the central prison, destroying a number of vehicles, including all terrorists inside. In Daraa countryside, Syrian Arab Army units defused a number of explosive devices that were planted by terrorist groups near a mosque in the town of Qarfa. In support of the Syrian Arab Army and in appreciation of its sacrifice to preserve the country's unity and sovereignty, residents of Jdeide, Kfir and Yabus held a rally at the public square. The participants in the march were exposed to bullets fired by the armed terrorist groups in the mountains leading to Lebanon, but the Syrian Arab Army units were present in the area and firmly retaliated, forcing the aggressive gunfire to stop. Residents of Kfir Yabus continued their march, challenging the terrorists and renewed their rejection of any foreign interference in Syria's internal affairs, asserting their unity in the face of terrorism. within the framework of the humanitarian response plan signed between the Foreign and Expatriates Ministry and the UN organization in Syria. The Ministry of Local Administration and Water Resources has signed with UNICEF an agreement on implementing a rehabilitation plan of infrastructure in several areas where security and stability have been re-established by the Syrian Arab Army after the terrorists had been expelled. The working plan, estimated to be worth $1 million, will provide 44 sources of reserve water for drinking purposes in all the governorates and will supply the necessary equipment and requirements for the drinking water laboratories. Taking part in implementing the working plan are the Syrian Arab Red Crescent, local civil societies and non-governmental civil organizations. Iran has affirmed that the Zionist entity and some foreign sides are smuggling weapons to the terrorist Takfiri gangs in Syria. The Iranian Foreign Ministry's spokeswoman Mardiya Afkham said that the subject of smuggling weapons has assumed a special importance for Iran, particularly the weapons that are smuggled to the Takfiri terrorist groups in Syria. Afkham described the Zionist entity's allegations on the dispatch of weapons from Iran to Gaza as mere lies and fabrications aimed at harming Iran's position in the region and its relations with world countries. She added that the Zionist allegations were made at a time when the Israeli lobby meeting was held in the U.S. She said Iran had already declared its stand regarding this issue, pointing out that the mystery that engulfed the news media reports and the contradictions that characterized the statements of some Zionist officials are made because they are afraid of the growing relations between Iran and other countries. Therefore, they resort to worn-out methods which have been clear to all. Welcome back. In occupied Palestine, 3 Palestinians were killed in an Israeli airstrike on Rafah, south of the Gaza Strip. The raid followed an incursion by the Israeli bulldozers into the area amid heavy smoke bombs and aggression by the Israeli occupation forces in the areas of Al-Fakhari and Sofa, near a place where an Israeli reconnaissance plane crashed, allegedly as a result of technical malfunction. Israeli occupation aircrafts, including reconnaissance planes, intensified their overflights over the borderlines of the land occupied in 1948 and in the space south of the Gaza Strip, while the occupation boats renewed their aggression on the Palestinian fishermen's boats near the area of Al-Sudaniya, north of Gaza Sea. In a similar aggression on the West Bank, a Palestinian young man from the town of Atail in the western Tul Karm was killed as the Israeli occupation forces opened fire at his vehicle near Al-Kafriyat checkpoint. Going too far in their crime, the occupation forces kept the body of the young man inside the car and prevented the Red Cross from reaching the area. In another Israeli aggression on the West Bank, a number of Palestinians were killed, especially in Al-Jalzoun camp north of Ramallah, where Palestinian young men repelled the aggression despite the Israeli gunfire. In Iraq, 5 terrorists, including 2 suicide bombers, were killed as they were planning to attack government buildings in the governorate of Kirkuk. Iraqi Interior Ministry website quoted Deputy Director of Kirkuk Police Department Officer Turhan Abdurrahman as saying that joint forces of Kirkuk, emergency police and security were able to kill 5 terrorists that had been forming a terrorist cell affiliated to Al-Qaeda, preparing to attack government buildings. In Baghdad, Iraqi police defused an explosive device stuck inside a car belonging to a citizen in the neighborhood of Euphrates in Baghdad. Police cordoned off the area and summoned an expert to defuse the bomb safely. In the governorate of Ninawa, north of Iraq, Iraqi security forces also defused a car bomb of the type Mitsubishi that was parked on the street in the neighborhood of As-Siddiq. Concerning the political crisis of the Ukraine, the Higher Council of Autonomous Crimea has approved independence from the Ukraine as a first step for joining Russia. For his part, the Ukrainian president asserted that he is still the legitimate president and the commander-in-chief of the Ukraine. In a statement in southern Russia, he said he did not give up his powers as he was not sacked from his office, indicating that a group seized power by force, blaming them for the deteriorating situation in the country. He pointed out that the opposition's elections are illegal, urging the international community to fight terrorism, strongly criticizing those who are working on igniting a civil war in the Ukraine. Finally, Ministry of Information inaugurated launching Amwaj radio FM channel in the city of Latakia with the aim of making the voice of the Syrians heard louder, especially during the current circumstances.
After a year of hard work, cooperation and communicating with people through Radio Amwaj FM in Latakia, Syrian media celebrates the anniversary of the launch of Radio Amwaj FM, which is a great step through this discriminate war on Syria. This step reflects the persistence of Syria against this world war. It is a brilliant channel. It targets a wide part of audience and talks about the issues which are very important for youth. We are worried to widen the coverage area. We use satellite in order to be heard all over the world. There was a big dream after launching this radio that came through receiving a great support from the administration. When it was launched, there was an urgent need, which was the communicating with people through the local radio. I'm one of those who started in Amwaj FM. The staff has been very little, but it is growing bigger. First of all, it is a great change in our national media in these difficult circumstances and during this aggressive media campaign, which costs billions of dollars. Our resistant Syrian media fights against the folk and elusive world and Arab media by developing its techniques and launching new radio and TV channels. It is an experience for 1 year, a very important one in my life. My program is Youth Online. Congratulations to the Syrian media and great wishes for Radio Amwaj FM. For the English news, Syrian channel, Latakia, Ranim al-Basha.
With this, we end our news for today. Thank you for watching. For more details about Syria and the region and to view this bulletin again, you can always visit our website in English, syriaonline.sy. Now to latest business and market news with Nariman Qassam, but after a short break. Street in the city of Al-Qamishli. According to initial information, 5 citizens were killed, others have been injured and material damage has been inflicted on the place. As security and stability has been restored to Azara village in Homs suburbs, the maintenance workshops continue their work in repairing the old. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Five citizens have been killed and others injured in blasts carried out by suicide bombers in a hotel in the city of Al-Qamishli. And welcome to our news for today. 2 citizens have been killed and 6 others injured when a mortar shell fired by terrorists fell on Al-Hal market in Al-Zablatani neighborhood in Damascus. Material damage was inflicted on the place. 3 terrorists with explosive belts have detonated themselves in Hadaya Hotel in Al-Wahda. The inhabitants of Khair and Diabous staged a march in support of the Syrian Arab Army and in appreciation of its sacrifices. Iran warns that the Zionist enemy and some foreign sides are smuggling weapons to the terrorist Takfiri gangs in Syria.